Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
John Plecnik.
Chairman Young, Ranking Member Miller, distinguished members, friends, I'm back. We have to stop meeting like this. Once again, my name is John Plecnik, and I'm honored to serve as an Associate Professor of Law at Cleveland State University. And I'm here to testify against Senate Bill 83 as a private citizen. To quote Justice Scalia, I dissent. And as a professor, I must assign the grade of F- to Senate Bill 83. It fails. Conservatives call Senate Bill 83 an attack on free speech and unconstitutional. Labor leaders call it the most anti-union legislation since SB 5, and most everyone else calls it the Higher Education Destruction Act. But I've called it a dumpster fire that threatens to incinerate free speech at Ohio's public universities. And since that's where free speech begins, where students learn how to debate, it really eliminates free speech in all of Ohio. It also still, even in its amended version, promotes grade inflation and endangers conservative professors and students. When I last came here, I introduced myself as the most conservative professor in Ohio. And I did so to bold, to underline, to italicize, to emphasize that I share your goal of wanting to have greater intellectual diversity. I share your goal of wanting balance on campus. I've fought for those goals my entire life since I was a college Republican. But this bill does not do what it says it does. This is labeled as a gift to conservative professors and students. This is like that bad fruitcake that you re-gift. I'm aware that there are a lot of out-of-state professors who think this is a good idea. I say pass this legislation in your state, keep it there, and keep your opinion there. This is the first and only time that I've testified for or against legislation in Columbus or anywhere else. And I'm not going to go to Texas to tell them how to do it. I'm not going to go to Vermont to tell them how to do it. Conservatives believe in federalism. Each state should decide for ourselves. So with respect to my retired colleagues and my colleagues in other states, I know how universities are today, not how they used to be and not how they are somewhere else in the world. And the universities in Ohio are doing great things. We are underfunded, and you can help with that. But we're doing great things with what you've given us. I further want to share that I'm not just a conservative professor, I'm also a conservative Republican elected official. I'm a member of my county Republican Central Committee. I'm the former Republican State Central Committeeman for Senate District 18, representing Lake, Geauga, and Portage. I've served on the Budget Oversight and the Policy Committees for the Ohio Republican Party, and I care deeply about our success together as a Republican Party. But we've built a working majority in Ohio, and you are sitting in these seats. And I am an elected Lake County Commissioner because of great men like Steve LaTourette, who understood that it is the middle class and the unions that lead us to victory, not just electorally, but to prosperity in Ohio. And to support an anti-union bill like this won't just destroy Ohio's future, it'll destroy the future of my party. I am here to protect the majority of the Republican Party, just as I'm here to protect the good things and the great work of our public universities in Ohio. Understand the danger that we are in today, the overreach that could cost us our majorities. Right now, folks, you know better than anyone, there is a redistricting amendment proposed, very likely to be on the ballot next year. And I think Ohio voters are really going to be asking this question. They're not going to say gerrymandering or not, because we know no matter what proposal passes, there's going to be some form of gerrymandering. They're going to say, do I trust the Republican Party to continue to have a majority? And they'll vote for that legislation, which will kill our districts. If you're in a 50-50 district or a 55-45, you're going to be underwater 10 points if that legislation becomes a part of our Constitution. Bills like this, it threatens us. But I'm not here as an opponent to you. I'm not the doomslayer. I'm your doomsayer. I'm here to warn you that if you overreach and pass anti-union legislation, you will destroy the governing coalition. Not just the future of Ohio, you will destroy the governing coalition that supports the Republican Party today. I am a proud pro-union Republican, and that's why I won my last election by 17 points. I want you to win by 17 points too. But you won't get there. You won't get there by bashing the middle class, by calling professors clowns and attacking unions. Number one, if you don't take my word for it, no less than the Foundation for Individual Rights and Education, now Expression.
Your time is up. Do I have any questions? Representative Willem.
So, thank you. Through the chairman, when you say that this is a dumpster fire and it hurts free speech at universities, are you speaking that the university has free speech, its students has free speech, its faculty have free speech? In what capacity are you saying?
Through the chair to the representative, as I was about to say, you don't have to take my word for it. No less than FIRE has said that Senate Bill 83 is, quote, unconstitutional and, quote, threatens academic freedoms, precisely because it does limit the free speech of professors by taking away all job protections. And it threatens the free speech at all universities by saying that we can't take positions on controversial topics. And while the sponsors of the bill have said that this does not mean a professor in their classroom can't say X, as others have noted, the wording is so broad and vague, we don't know how a court is going to interpret it when that professor is fired because they dare to talk about the controversial topic of marriage, gasp. Well, I teach estate planning and tax law. I can't discuss those topics without discussing the rights and responsibilities of spouses, the tax filing status of marriage, but apparently that's too controversial for one person from Kirtland. No one person should decide for an entire university system or state what's controversial. So yes, it impacts the free speech of everyone at every university.
Follow up?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So what I got out of that statement was that it's the portion where it says the university shall not adopt a position about controversial subjects. So you're arguing that the institution itself has free speech rights?
I'm saying two things. Number one, when you say the university or the institution can't make a statement, it's a very complex legal question who is speaking for the institution. And while the sponsors of the bill take one position on who the university is, the courts may take another down the road. The vagaries of the language of the bill are part of the reason it gets an F-. But the second reason is by creating all these new procedures whereby professors can be fired for poor student evaluations, for having one bad category in their evaluation 2 years out of the last 3, any student who's dissatisfied with their professor, perhaps because of free speech that the professor engaged in, well, that professor can be punished. That also puts professors in a position where they can't stand up for and mentor their students, in addition to being unable to hold them accountable. I've never had a student say, I think your discussion of marriage was too controversial, but Representative, I have had students say, your exam was too hard or you assigned too much reading. And I think you will find that professors will be punished for reasons entirely different from trying to indoctrinate students if you take away all job protections. And yes, that will impact the free speech of both professors and students.